February 24th, 9:41 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Friends on Line 1, welcome back to Ace Attorney. So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. Or wait, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. The different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So, how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? They agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Sky. You found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Bloodstained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. February 24th, 10 o'clock a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 9. Also, I don't know why the beginning of the of the chapter doesn't begin on a black screen like it used to. Makes the intro that I do not as cool or atmospheric. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain in both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Oh, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as a prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what set Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. Isn't that supposed to be an admirable trait? Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Officer, Meeks, was it? Meekles? Something like that? I didn't see what he said. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir. Meekins. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir. Actually, what we'd like to hear from you is, sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Help me, sir. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that in order. Yes, sir. As you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Crime report, sir. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen, and I rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then I did it. After that, I passed out, until another officer smacked me awake.
So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you.
Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir.
I see. Then you fainted, and a colleague helped you regain consciousness.
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
What I need here is more info to work with. Alright. You know what we do? Press them on everything. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Yikes, now there's a scary thought. Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir.
Blue Badger?
Yes, sir, the lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir.
I see. Sounds like a very, important mission.
To the awards ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room.
Tell us, what did you see when you got there? I feel like this guy couldn't possibly have done it. He's made to be way too, like, comical. Unless he's got, like, a total, like, evil side that comes out later or something. Sort of like Miss What's-Her-Face from the Turnabout Sisters trial. So. Oh, shoot. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? There it is, I found it. This is the one right here.
Can you please read us the number?
Yes, sir. It's 489-9596. That's my number, sir. 498-9596. I see, huh? The number 498-9596 is shown being used twice. Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during that second time when...
Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir. A knife.
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. Or not exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. If you just keep your cool, your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. Fought for my life, and then I did it. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. This man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched the knife from him. You took his knife. I spun around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. I see. Must have been desperate. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then the next thing I knew,
Yes?
he punched me right in my face, sir. About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying in tears of pain.
That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
Your mission?
Yes, sir, the Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. Well, we can all rest easy now.
I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point.
Yes, Officer Meekins?
With regard to that, sir. Take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir. The chief delivered it.
What is that? A videotape?
Yes, sir, that's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. What? I specifically asked if there was such a tape. I was told it had been mistakenly erased.
That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever.
Well then, let's have a look.
Doesn't Marshall handle those tapes? And wasn't his bloody fingerprints found in the evidence room?
Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using that word, murder, sir. That scares me. A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? It's weird seeing actual emotion here. I'm inclined to believe that the person he quote-unquote murdered was actually Marshall. That's really inconvenient timing on the Blue Badger's part.
Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us?
What the hell was that wiggling piece of plywood?
Sir,
That is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly?
yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room, and some sort of activity did take place.
Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, witness's testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir. As you wish, sir. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. And the locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
What's this about a fingerprint?
Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
I don't know where this cross-examination will lead. Everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Yeah, I guess just press them on everything. Space, get rid of what you're seeing in the video. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife? Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter. The latter? You were standing right in front of him, were you not?
More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you?
Oh, yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when they talk with them, or when talking with them, you see? Yes, that's a good trait for a police officer. Still, I'm sure it was him. I'd bet my badge on it. But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it.
Since his face can be identified in the video, only you can verify it.
Why is everyone looking at me? I had to label your stares as disturbing or...
Makens.
Having been shown a questionable video at best, you are not in the best of moods. But please be more certain when you testify. Yes, sir. You claim the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you were positive it was him. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them? No, sir. I myself tried all the kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir. What kind of methods he's tried?
The man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, and he must be the person the locker was assigned to.
Exactly my point, sir, and this too. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker.
How do you know that information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from the people I know in the know, sir. People in the know? The workers in the department cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir. For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information to a more reliable source.
So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint.
That must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face. Sir, if I may say something, sir.
Please do. After all, you're the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie.
That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? Based on the fact that it's asking me, I'm going to say there is. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there's one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Is it the fact that he didn't leave? Maybe?
Strange.
This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman.
What? This video contains such a contradiction?
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth?
Propose we have the defense point out to us in this alleged contradiction in the video. You would want me to point it out.
Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction that you speak of.
I have to point out a problem in the video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You could do it, Mr. Wright. Set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video.
How did this guy ever become a police officer?
Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman?
Oh, wait. The light's on. That means it's open, right? The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Sir, do you mean me, sir? As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. So it's already open. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, she rewind a little earlier. Here, notice the light?
What's this? It's already lit.
Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Ah!
Order. What's the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. The locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh well, just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation?
Me, Your Honor?
Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked?
Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Mr. Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system sensor? Something jammed in the sensor, say. Something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more. Locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please point out the cause for this.
Let's see. Nothing there. Oh, Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier.
What's this? Something white fell out of the locker.
But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out in real great distances when I open my car door, sir. You can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
Sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted.
This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times I get stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, it chokes me.
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. There need to be an insulator.
Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene,
There just might have been something that fits the description.
But, sir, you by insulator, you don't mean...
I think I finally got this figured out.
Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door?
It straight up says, rubber glove. Okay, I can expect it. Let's look at it real quick. Take a look all the way around. It's weird, because of the texture, it looks like 2D art the entire way around. Even though we know it's not. It does a good job of looking like it's a 2D drawing no matter what angle you look at it from. Like, this looks flat. Anyway. That's it. I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove.
But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker.
There's a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Sir, it would appear so, sir.
Order, order, order. Are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in this video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Makins, please testify about this. Sir, me, sir. I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is this a joke? Very well, begin your testimony.
Streamman 2. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. And enter the evidence room. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Yeah, it has to be Marshall, because Marshall was also at the other scene, so it makes sense he would drop it there.
An ID card record. I see.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 was that of the victim.
Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. However, there are so few people using this room.
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases.
Special cases.
Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end.
Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference.
There are only a few cases up for transfer there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right, I see. Well, let us move on to the cross-examination. Okay, so we're obviously going to press on everything again, but I'm going to look to see if there's anything I can think of that can object to anything. Because there's no way I exclusively just press for every single thing the entire time. There's bound to be something I have to object with. What's this? Again. Upward. I wonder what the crossed out 9 is for. Anyway. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. So, unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you? Yes, sir. Solid as a stone, sir. My hand wasn't wrapped in bandages. I'd even give the V for victory sign, sir. He just used his right hand for that? Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second. Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards? Yes, sir. This card right next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it. And what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, there are many times it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony. Oh. Let it be noted, this is the record the witness referred to. Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman. What's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here.
So it is, Your Honor. With that prosecutor again. Hey, maybe he's behind all this. Being a prosecutor, he couldn't hide the evidence. Mommy, is that man in blue a murderer? Shh, don't stare at him. You got the wrong color, kid.
It would seem. The Inquiry Committee will want to speak with you again today.
I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth, it must be so difficult for him. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked. Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this.
You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show him what we've got.
It's definitely gotta be something to do with this. Was there a time on this thing? Let me be submitted to the chief of police. Wait, what if his lost item report is for his ID card? That's why he couldn't write the ID number. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Lost item report. Only half completed. It shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess, you believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order! Order! So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order! 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 Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo? Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the evidence refers to the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes? That being the case, you must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... well, I guess that's right. There's something wrong, Mr. Wright. Only moments ago, you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Well, well, it seems you've finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. That it was Lana. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So? The real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah! I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Still think it's Jake Marshall regardless. Who exactly was the victim after Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else. Lana.
What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Object, of course. One moment, Your Honor.
What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven.
Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap.
What are you talking about?
This cross-examiner has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. I'm to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean...
Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh, whom do you have in mind?
Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name, before deciding whether or not to comply.
Very well then. Mr. Wright, this person whom you would have testify, what is his or her name?
It is obviously going to be you, because your fingerprints were in there, and I believe that you stole the ID card. You were the one in there, and that's why we can't see your face. And I think you actually provoked Lana in the underground parking lot, or something like that. But I think you did the murder. She found you. And she is the... and so she attacked you. But, I don't know, something like that. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? Can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Sorry.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. For the prosecution, please prepare the witness during this time.
We will, Your Honor.
Court is now in recess. February 24th, 11:32 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What do you mean?
You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you've figured everything out.
I haven't figured out anything yet. I figured anything out.
Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How could you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me?
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. To top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
Sorry, Detective.
You better be, pal. Hey, 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 hey! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky.
That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked?
Oh, 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 oh. You mean this, right?
My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name in making my request.
My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. Yes?
The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... Thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them.
I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case.
The Sky was a witness?
The Joe Dark killings all 2 years ago. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with the serial murders. Oh, what? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me?
Emma? But why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark? No. No, Lana. That's over with. No. Emma, wait. Ran away.
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
Dick Marshall, Angel Star, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. To mention Lana and Emma. Everyone is involved in this case, or everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. It can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. Better take a good look at this file.
To be continued.
So, thank you everybody for watching. Yet another shorter episode, which typically means the next episode is going to be lengthy. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But that's going to be all for this one. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like for more. Goodbye.